This is the Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports and News Radio. Thank you for joining us. We have a great show today. At any time, you can email the program at messiahhour@gmail.com, or you can send a donation via PayPal through israelsportsradio@yahoo.com. Again, israelsportsradio@yahoo.com. A lot of people are very concerned about the recent election of the new Prime Minister of Canada. Here to discuss this is Israel Sports and News Radio's North American correspondent, Ann Stoffel. Leslie, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Ari. Good to be back.
Yes, indeed. It's been too long. Before we begin with the new Prime Minister, let's talk about the old Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, one of the best friends Israel has had in the last 25 years. He is out of a job. Any chance he could come to Israel and replace Bibi? I think we'd be happy with the change.
Oh, gosh. I don't know, but I know he and Bibi are very, very good friends. So, he'll probably be going over there for visits and stuff, because they did name a bird sanctuary after Stephen Harper up in the north, in the Golan area there. It's a beautiful bird sanctuary, so I'm sure he'll come and visit, and I don't think he'll be replacing Bibi, though. I don't think so.
That's a shame. A lot of people in Israel are very disappointed in Bibi's performance, not just with the recent dealing with the terror attacks, but the economy in general, other things. Well, but in all seriousness, where or what will Stephen Harper do now? Now he's the ex-prime minister. What does he do?
I don't know. I've been looking around for things to see if there's anything in the media that they're saying that he's going to do, and I think it's too soon. They haven't announced anything yet, but I'm sure he's a real family man, so I think he'll probably take time to be with his family and his wife and just get themselves settled, get themselves out of the prime minister's residence there and move into wherever they're going to move to and get themselves settled. And then he'll probably be doing, I'm sure, speaking and writing, and he is such a strong moral voice for the West and for the world, and I really hope that he can have influence, continue to have influence even after he's left office, because one by one we're losing. We're just losing a strong moral voice in the West. I mean, look at Europe is falling. The United States is in a complete mess. The Middle East is in a mess. We don't have anybody to stand up and be a strong voice. And I mean, now, Donald Trump, so a few of them are on the Republican side are standing up. Like, there's Cruz and Dr. Ben Carson, and Trump, of course, is a strong, appears to be that way. So there are some people that are trying to, break through that, the moral equivalency thing, and this, how they're trying to sort of crush our Western civilization. And, there are people trying to stand up and continue to keep what we've got, but Stephen Harper really was one of those people, and it's really a shame. I'm actually really sad about it. I shed a little bit of a tear because we will miss him very much.
Yeah, a lot of my Canadian friends very sad and upset about what happened. Why did he lose the election?
Well, there's a lot of factors, I think. One of them is he was there for a long time. It was probably 9 years or something, and I think people just get tired of the same face and the same thing. We have a very, very left media here, and they beat up on Stephen Harper no matter what he does. They make him out, they demonize him, and they absolutely fawn over and gush over the liberal or the so-called progressive candidates, especially Justin Trudeau. Now, I personally don't have anything against Justin Trudeau as a person. I don't even know him, but I'm coming at it in the sense that he's very He has great name recognition. He's really good looking, really charismatic. His father was Pierre Trudeau, who he was kind of the Obama back in his day, very progressive, multi-culti, loving, brought in this bilingualism all over Canada, where most people I'm absolutely hardly anyone in the West speaks French, and it's because it was shoved down our throats and we just refused to speak it. But everything has to be in French and in English. So anyway, that's what his dad did, and kind of made us into quite a socialist country. So it actually did hurt our economy back in the day. With Justin Trudeau, he's very much like his father, only he doesn't have the same education or brain power that his father had. His father was an intellectual, and he actually was a really smart man. He was a lawyer. Justin, I think he's been a high school teacher, and not just that, he's not really qualified for this kind of a job, but he's very, very left. They're calling him our Obama, and I hate to say it, it sounds kind of mean, but I've been saying our Obama without the brains because it's true. At least Obama is very well educated. And Justin Trudeau isn't. He's very much into these airy-fairy issues like carbon taxing and global warming, and he wants to be all-inclusive with the terrorists and go against what Stephen Harper wanted to revoke Canadian citizenship of terrorists who commit terror crimes in Canada. And Justin Trudeau is very much against that. He doesn't want to do that, and people are shocked. Like, how can you even say that? I mean, if you're going to attack Canadians and you've come here as an immigrant, then you need to have it revoked and you need to go. Isn't that a no-brainer? But this is our world now. I mean, there are no absolutes, and our media backs him up, backs people like him up, and so there are many factors as to why he would be elected, and those are just some of them. And people in our day and age now, it's if the guy's got nice hair and he's good looking and he's charming, who cares? They'll just vote for him because most people are just so not with the program. And I always say too that again, they are misinformed and by the media, and that's all they get. If they don't turn to alternate medias of some sort, they're going to just get fed the liberal, multi-culti, moral relativism line, and they're not going to understand that there are absolutes. And with somebody like Justin Trudeau, who is he doesn't see Islamic terrorists as this has anything to do with Islam. He's got the same kind of attitude that Obama has, and he wants to bring in thousands and thousands of these Syrian so-called refugees who are really just hordes of Islamic migrants coming in to basically make sure that at some point in time we'll have to implement Sharia law. So there are a lot of complex things going on here, and people like us who want to stand up for the truth and draw moral lines and draw lines in the sand and say, there is a good side and a bad side. We've got to still try to do our best to speak out and write about it and talk about it and post it and whatever, because it seems like we're drowning in this sea of liberal progressivism that really wants to destroy what we have here in the West.
Again, this is the Messiah Hour here at Israel Sports News Radio, talk about the latest shift in Canadian politics. So, Leslie, we know Stephen Harper was very pro-Israel, still is pro-Israel, but he's not the leader of Canada anymore. This new Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, is he anti-Israel?
Okay, I don't believe that he's anti-Israel, but he's pro-Islam. So being pro-Islam will affect his and I'm saying that because I haven't heard him come out and say he's anti-Israel. But what I'm just looking at the way that someone like Obama or other leaders are pro-Islam, and that affects their decision making and the way they deal with Israel. When Stephen Harper, he came out and said he was pro-Israel. I mean, he stood by Israel. So he drew lines in the sand. He said, if this happens, these terror attacks happen, this and that, Israel, this is very wrong, and Israel needs to address it and fight back and whatever. But I can kind of see sort of a Justin Trudeau coming in more of an Obama stance, the moral relativism stance, which is, both parties are kind of at fault, and we need to tamper it down, whatever, which is kind of what Obama said. I mean, I can kind of see that happening. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think that from what his mindset seems to be, that's what I can sense coming down the road. Now, I want to read something here. I have an article on Jihad Watch, and it's about Justin Trudeau. And we were all taken aback when this happened. When that Boston bombing thing happened, Justin Trudeau actually was sympathetic to those bombers, and he said that. Let's see, where does it say it here? Hold on one second. Oh, yeah, here it is. He said, this is what he said, okay, and we were just so shocked, and we were just, this is what made us afraid of him becoming our prime minister, actually, because this speaks volumes. He said, there is no question that this happened because of someone who feels completely excluded, someone who feels completely at war with innocence, at war with society. And then the author says, at war with innocence, that rivals the Obama administration's ascribing the Fort Hood jihad massacre to workplace violence. In reality, Tsarnaev, the bomber, explained after the bombing that he and his brother committed murder at the marathon because they wanted to defend Islam. And they both had vowed to die for Islam, these two guys that did this bombing. So here we go. They said that why they wanted to do it, how they wanted to do it, and right away Trudeau is just giving them excuses and wanting to, kind of like, let's hug a terrorist routine. And here also, if you're looking, okay, here we go. It says that also, as far as Justin Trudeau is concerned, if you're looking into Islam as having anything to do with terror attacks, you're looking in the wrong place, because someone wrote, this Williams person wrote, that in 2013, Trudeau came under fire for his participation in Canada's largest Islamic conference held in Toronto and entitled it Reviving the Islamic Spirit. And the criticism was over the conference's sponsor, IRFAN, IRFAN, International Relief Fund for the Afflicted and the Needy, which was stripped of its federal charity status because of its ties to the terrorist group Hamas. Even the moderate Muslim Canadian Congress advised Trudeau not to attend. And then it goes on to say, did the links with Hamas put Trudeau off? Not any more than the Council on American Islamic Relations ties to Hamas stopped American politicians, at least those on the left, from appearing and glad-handing at its conferences. Trudeau, Williams reports, according to a report, smothered the Islamic conference in platitudes. He apparently went so far as to imply a totally inept comparison in trying to liken the fierce division between English and French Canada under Prime Minister Wilfrid Laurier to that of the current divisions between mainstream Canada and Islam. So, I mean, this is just a small sampling, Ari. And, this is very, very troubling and concerning, because this man is in charge of our federal government, and he obviously has, sympathy and empathy and compassion for jihadists and Hamas-linked groups, and he absolutely has no problem bringing in unvetted Syrians into this country, and honestly, it's terrifying, to be honest with you. That's what it is.
Can anything be done to fix it inside of Canada internally? Other politicians that maybe are against this type of idea that will fight for goodness, basically, and fight for Israel's side?
I don't know. We'll have to see how his cabinet is put together, and how how the Conservatives have their seats, what's going to happen with them within the Parliament, and then we'll have to see how we can push and to help stop some of these things from happening. And it's quite hard, because Canada's a really large country, and our federal government is there in Ottawa. It's very, very far away from me, and I think just like in any country now, you just kind of feel like you're just this. You really don't have a say in what they're going to do. So I don't know. We'll have to see, and we'll have to really try. I have a lot of friends that are, very much wanting to put some limits and barriers into what he can do, and we'll just have to see if we can do that. I don't know.
Again, this is the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports News Radio, talking about the latest shakeup in Canadian politics. Stephen Harper's out, Justin Trudeau is in. And I wanted to know what you think will occur domestically in Canada in terms of, you talk about terrorism, if you talk a little bit about more how that's going to relate to the rest of the world. Because right now, the United States is not very well respected in the entire world. I want to know if you think the same fate will fall to Canada.
I really do. I really, really do, because Justin Trudeau does not have the gravitas that Stephen Harper has. He doesn't have as we've just heard, he doesn't have the thinking ability, the ability to reason and even have the wherewithal or the common sense to stop himself from going and supporting these terror groups. And he's even been photographed in some kind of really crazy, well, it was a radical so-called mosque, and there's a picture of him in there, and he's dressed like a Muslim, and he's doing all this praying and stuff. And first of all, I'm saying too, even under Stephen Harper, I'm wondering, why do we have this? Why is there a radical mosque here in the first place? Okay, and so he is fully ensconced within this, and willing to. He's already announced that he's going to stop our fighter planes from striking ISIS. So I can see us. I hate to be the bearer of all this really bad news, but all you have to do is look at how he thinks, look at how this has played out in other Western countries, and you can see that we are heading down the same road as America, only, like I say, only probably worse, because he doesn't even have the brains of an Obama. So I think it's kind of like it's going to be all over the place, and not in a good way.
Wow. All right. Well, whatever it's worth, shout out to my friend Svi, who said it. At least this will help bring Mashiach closer.